So today, we're diving into something really special, an ancient system of knowledge from India that has looked to the heavens for answers for literally thousands of years. We're talking about Jyotish. I mean, who hasn't done that, right? That feeling of just staring up at the night sky and wondering, is there some kind of connection? Do those lights have anything to tell us about our own lives down here? Well, that very question is exactly where our journey begins today.
All right, so let's get right into it. What exactly is Jyotish? Well, to really understand it, you just have to look at its name. The whole meaning is hidden right there.
And this is so important. Jyotish, or Jyotirvidya, literally translates to the science of light. That word, science, is key. Right away, it tells you that this is way more than simple fortune-telling. It's framed as a deep, systematic study of cosmic light itself. So what it really boils down to is this fundamental relationship. The whole system is built on the idea that the light and the energy coming from the sun, the moon, and the planets aren't just distant, random events. No, they're actually woven into the very fabric of our lives and our consciousness right here on Earth. And this image is a perfect way to visualize that. What you're looking at is a Surya Yantra, which is a sacred mystical diagram that represents the sun. In Jyotish, the sun isn't just a big star. It's seen as a divine source of intelligence and energy, whose light carries patterns that can influence everything, from big world events right down to our own individual journeys. Okay, so to really appreciate what Jyotish is, you have to understand where it came from. And trust me, this isn't some new age practice that's just a few centuries old. Its roots go back millennia. Just take a look at this timeline. We're talking about astronomical references found in the Vedas, which are some of the oldest sacred texts in the world. Some scholars date these references as far back as 4,000, maybe even 6,000 BC. That's just incredible. It shows that the observational science behind Jyotish is part of one of the world's oldest continuous cultures, and it never stopped growing. It was a living tradition that continued to evolve, with important texts being written even in the 16th century. And from within the tradition itself, the origins are considered, well, divine. This quote comes from the great sage Parashara, who is pretty much seen as the father of Jyotish. And notice what he's saying. He's not claiming he invented it. He's saying he received it as part of an unbroken lineage of enlightened seers, a sacred science that came directly from the creator, Brahma. So we know what it is and where it comes from, but how does it actually work? Well, this is where Jyotish really sets itself apart from the kind of astrology you might be more familiar with. It uses a totally different map of the heavens. And you've really got to get this part because it's a huge deal. Most Western astrology uses the tropical zodiac. You can think of that as a map that's aligned with the seasons here on Earth. Jyotish, on the other hand, uses the sidereal zodiac. This is a map that's fixed to the actual observable positions of the constellations in the sky. It seems like a small difference, but it has massive implications. It often means that your sun sign and all your planetary placements are completely different in a Jyotish chart. Now, the key players in this cosmic map are the 9 grahas. And while we often just translate that as planets, the word is much richer. A graha is something that grasps or seizes you. And the list is fascinating. You've got the sun and moon, the 5 planets you can see, and then Rahu and Ketu. These aren't planets at all. They're invisible points in space, the points where solar and lunar eclipses happen. And in Jyotish, they're seen as incredibly powerful karmic influences in our lives. And these grahas are not just seen as cold, inanimate objects floating out there. Not at all. They are personified as divine beings, as cosmic intelligences with their own unique energies. I mean, look at these descriptions. You have Surya, the sun, called the creator of the day. And then there's Chandra, the moon, the immortal yogi. This perspective transforms astrology from a set of calculations into a real dialogue with the living forces of the cosmos. So that brings us to the big question. What is this all for? If you think Jyotish is just about predicting whether you'll get a promotion or meet someone new, you're really just scratching the surface. The real, true purpose of Jyotish is self-knowledge. It's meant to be a tool for understanding your own unique nature, your karmic patterns, your soul's purpose. Prediction is definitely a part of it, but the whole point is to use that foresight to navigate your life with more wisdom and with more intention. In fact, Jyotish is traditionally seen as a guide to help you achieve the 4 great aims of human life. First, there's Dharma, fulfilling your life's purpose. Then Artha, gathering the resources you need to live well. After that is Kama, enjoying the beautiful pleasures of life. And finally, Moksha, the ultimate quest for spiritual liberation. It's a roadmap for a whole, meaningful life.
So, if you boil it all down, the ultimate takeaway is this. Jyotish is like a cosmic mirror. It gives you a language and a framework to see the subtle energies and patterns that are shaping your life. And the goal isn't to make you feel trapped by fate. No way. The goal is to empower you to become a more conscious co-creator of your own destiny.
And that leaves us with one final thought to ponder. If you could really look into this ancient mirror of light, this reflection of your soul, what would you hope to see? What potential would you hope to unlock?